I have no doubt that we can and will finish the job.
What's Israel's next move in its ongoing conflict with Iran? Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a bold statement on Sunday. He vowed to finish the job against Iran with strong backing from the United States President Donald Trump. This comes as tensions of the two countries with Iran continue to escalate. Speaking alongside U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is on his first visit to the Middle East as a Secretary of State, Netanyahu declared that Israel has delivered a mighty blow to Iran's terror axis over the past 16 months. He added that with President Trump's leadership, Israel will finish the job.
Today, Secretary Rubio and I had a very productive discussion with our staffs on a number of issues. None of them are more important than Iran. Israel and America stand shoulder to shoulder in countering the threat of Iran. We agreed that the Ayatollahs must not have nuclear weapons. And we also agreed that Iran's aggression in the region has to be rolled back. Over the last 16 months, Israel has dealt a mighty blow to Iran's terror axis. Under the strong leadership of President Trump and with your unflinching support, I have no doubt that we can and will finish the job.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio reinforced the sentiment. He made it clear that there could never be a nuclear Iran, adding that Iran's influence spreads across many unstable regions from Hamas and Hezbollah to Iraq, Syria, and the West Bank.
The common theme in all of these challenges is Iran. It is the single greatest source of instability in the region. Behind every terrorist group, behind every act of violence, behind every destabilizing activity, behind everything that threatens peace and stability for the millions of people who call this region home, is Iran. And by Iran, I mean the Ayatollahs. By Iran, I mean its regime. A regime who, by the way, its people don't support. The people of Iran are victims of that regime. And so I think it's important to constantly point that whether we talk about Hamas or we talk about Hezbollah or we talk about violence in the West Bank or we talk about destabilization in Syria or we talk about any of these issues, the militias in Iraq, they all have behind them one common theme: Iran. And that must be addressed. And there can never be a nuclear Iran. A nuclear Iran that could then hold itself immune from pressure and from action. That can never happen. The President's been clear about that as well. And so I close where I began by reiterating our strong support for our allies, very close allies and partners here in Israel, to the people of this great country, for whom we have tremendous love and respect for everything you're facing, have faced, and continue to face. It is an extraordinary story of bravery. A nation founded in the ashes and in the aftermath of a horrifying crime against humanity, stood from its very inception, from the very day of its birth, against threats from every angle and every corner, and has served as an example to the world of a pluralistic society, a free enterprise democracy, and one that if there were more Israels in the Middle East, more countries like that, the world would be a safer and a better place. And this is what we hope for the region and for our planet. A nation that's always sought peace, but will not allow itself to be intimidated or destroyed by its enemies. And on that front, you can always count on us, as long as I'm in this position and President Trump is in the White House.
U.S. intelligence agencies have recently warned both Biden and Trump administrations. They say Israel might attempt to strike Iran's nuclear facilities this year. This move could significantly increase the risk of a wider war in the Middle East. Despite the U.S. push for peace talks, Israel seems determined to act. Recent reports suggest Israel is actively pursuing regime change in Iran. Netanyahu himself has hinted at taking military action against Iran's nuclear infrastructure if necessary. Stay tuned to the official YouTube channel of the Indian Express for more updates on this growing crisis in the Middle East between Israel and Iran and how the US is positioned.